we can start. Thank you.
Eighth verse only, no, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Ashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So today we'll be studying from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, the history of the life of Ajamila, text 8. We'll recite the verse. Tasmat Puraivas Ivah Papa Nishkrito Yate Tamrityur Avipadyatatmana Doshasya Drishtva Gurulagavam Yata Bishak Chikitseta Rujam Nidhanavet. In the word-to-word meaning. Tasmat, therefore, Pura, before, Eva, indeed, Ashu, very quickly, Iha, in this life, Papa Nishkrita, to become free from the reactions of sinful activities. Yateta, one should endeavor. Mrityoh, death. Avipadyate, not troubled by disease and old age. Atmana, with a body. Doshasya, of the sinful activities. Dristva, estimating. Guru Lagavam, the heaviness or lightness. Yatha, just like Bishak, the physician. Chikitseta, would treat Rujam of disease. Nidhanavit, one who is expert in diagnosis. Translation purport by His Divine Grace S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Therefore, before one's next death comes, as long as one's body is strong enough, one should quickly adopt the process of atonement according to Shastra. Otherwise, one's time will be lost and the reactions of his sins will increase. As an expert physician diagnoses and treats a disease according to its gravity, one should undergo atonement according to the severity of one's sins. Purport. The Dharma Shastras like Manu Samhita prescribe that a man who has committed murder should be hanged and his own life sacrificed in atonement. Previously, this system was followed all over the world, but since people are becoming atheists, they are stopping capital punishment. That is not wise. Herein it is said that a physician who knows how to diagnose a disease prescribes medicines accordingly. If the disease is very serious, the medicine must be strong. If the weight of the murderer's sin is very great, and therefore, according to Manu Samhita, a murderer must be killed. By killing a murderer, the government shows mercy to him, because if a murderer is not killed in this life, he will be killed and forced to suffer many times in future lives. Since people do not know about the next life and the intricate workings of the nature, they manufacture their own laws, but they should properly consult the established injunctions of the Shastras and act accordingly. In India, even today, the Hindu community often takes advice from expert scholars regarding how to counteract sinful activities. In Christianity also, there is a process of confession and atonement. Therefore, atonement is required, and atonement must be undergone according to the gravity of one's sinful acts. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवान् श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। आञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां भावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So this is the sixth canto, first chapter. So we are just entering the Ajamila's past history. So this is the first, this question is the first test which Parikshit Maharaj, for Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami is testing. Because the previous verse, he had asked a question. Sukadeva Goswami explained, my dear king, if there is, before that, so those who are suffering, so what is the remedy for them? So then Sukadeva Goswami started explaining the previous verse, and then in this verse he is saying that they have to atone. So he is in the next verse also, 10th verse, I think so. He will give another prescription. So this is karma. By doing some karma kanda and doing atonement, one can get relieved from the sinful reactions. So this is the first one. And then the later he will give this karma path. Then the in the 10th or 11th verse, Sukadeva Goswami will give the jnana marga, jnana sadhana, to counteract the sinful reactions. So they both test. So Sukadeva Goswami is testing Parikshit Maharaj, whether he is understanding it or whether he is satisfied just with it atonement from the karmakanda process or jnana. So the both the test he passes. So after giving the second test, jnana marga, jnana sadhana path, he sees that Parikshit Maharaj is not very impressed by these solutions which offered by Sukadeva Goswami. So he becomes very morose. So and then understanding the mind of Parikshit Maharaj, then he speaks the Ananya Bhakti, that is the 15th or 14th verse in this chapter. We'll talk about the only by devotion, bhakti or the chanting process is the ultimate process to atonement, because it completely removes not only the sins, the sinful tendencies, the papa, bhuta, everything. So that we may study later. So we'll see in this verse today. So Prabhupada is talking about Manu Samhita, the punishments, and at present, so these injunctions are not being followed, Dharma Sastras, by the elected government in the world, because they are concocting purposes. And then what is the importance, the necessity, the urgency for rectifying the sins one has done? Atonement, here Prabhupada is saying. Atonement, therefore the atonement is required, and the atonement must be undergone according to the gravity of one's sinful activities. Okay, we'll see. So what is from the word by word what exactly this verse is. It's saying tasmat. So whenever there is tasmat word comes in Bhagavatam, so thus tasmat means after, it's a concluding word. After some questions are being asked, so some important thing is going to come. Some important spiritual instructions are going to be coming, and it is not optional, it is compulsory. They have to be followed. So whenever tasmat comes, something important is going to come. So if it's tasma, therefore, pura. Pura means before. Before when? Before what? Before the death. Before end of this life. So before means not later, not when one become old or when becomes weak. So they have to follow immediately, quickly. That also will come. Eva, indeed, certainly they have to follow. Absolutely. There is no question of neglecting. You cannot negotiate. You have to follow. What is that? Atonement. So how? When to follow? Ashu. Ashu. Ashu means very quickly. Immediately you should do. We cannot postpone the rectifying our mistakes. Or here in this case is sin. Whatever sin one has committed, one has to immediately do rectification. That also Prabhupada talked about. The purport will go there. Because the sin which we have committed is like some fire, like a burning house. So if somebody doesn't give attention immediately, it will engulf everything, it will destroy everything. That Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that if a person is not punished, the murderer, in this life, then he has to undergo many lives and then he will be suffering many times. It seems also that if one doesn't undergo the atonement or rectify his sins, then immediately, if you prolong it or delay it, it increases, the intensity or gravity increases manyfold. On Iha, in this life, so this life only one has to rectify this, not in the next life. What? The Papa Nishkrita, the sins. So they have to completely cleanse this from the subtle, not only gross, subtle also. Because Bhagavatam says in the 11th canto, says, Yatagni su samridarchi karoti yedamsi bhashmashat tata mad vishaya bhaktir Uddhavamshi Krishna. Krishna is speaking to Uddhava. Therefore, before next death comes, as long as one's body is strong enough, one should quickly adopt the process of atonement according to the scriptures or shastras. Yatagnishu samriddharchi. If otherwise, it will burn everything. Karoti yadamshi bhashmasat. Just like a firewood burns everything. Otherwise, one's time will be lost. Because if he doesn't take the process of atonement, the time will go. And the reactions will increase. Bhagavatam also is saying, the 11, 14, 19th, 11th canto, 14th chapter, 19th verse. Krishna speaking to Uddhava is saying that if he doesn't rectify it, it increases. Just as if you deposit some money in the bank, so the interest keeps getting added. So similarly, if you don't rectify the mistake one has done, so the intensity or gravity keeps on increasing. So then we have to rectify it. So we have to go to doctor. So Prabhupada is saying also, the physician. As an expert, a physician diagnoses that and treats the disease according to its gravity. One should undergo atonement according to the severity of one's sins. Because this human form of body only in this human form body we can get the atonement. We can do whatever rectification. The process here it is, we are talking about the atonement, which is karma kanda process, which is ultimately rejected by the Bhagavatam. Later in the few verses only in this chapter itself, we'll see Parikshit Maharaj is rejecting. Because this human form of life is, if you don't utilize this within this life, if you don't atone, then we don't know what form of life we will get in 84 lakh species in the next birth. Because it is said also in Bhagavatam, this human form of his life is human body is like a boat. That also comes in the 11th canto. Videha madhyam sudabam sudurlabam plavam sukalpam guru karnadaram mayanukulena navabhasha matrate puman bhavabdi na taret sa atmaha. So he is the killer of the soul, atmaha. One who does not take the help of this boat and crosses the samsara. Hrideham Adhyam Sudabam Sudarlabam. So Plavam Sakalpam Guru Karnadaram. So the favorable breezes are a guru's instructions. So with this body, the guru is the expert captain in the ship, and his instructions are, guru's instructions are the favorable breezes. That sloka says that it can navigate properly. Mayanukulena navabhasam atratam puman bhavabdi na taretsam. So one who doesn't take the help of guru's instruction to cross, to rectify the past sins in this life, so he is called Atmaha, na taretsa Atmaha. He is the killer of the soul. That's what Bhagavatam says. So that's why one has to, that's why the urgency is in this verse also is spoken in the 618, that they have to, in this life only, they have to rectify. We have to rectify whatever we have done. Otherwise, if not treated, just like a disease, it grows. It spreads to other places. Otherwise, even we don't know when the life will end. We cannot remember Krishna. If you don't rectify it, so all the sinful tendencies only will be there. So one at the time of death, Anta Kalesha Mam Eva Swaran Bhakta Kalevaram, that will not come. One cannot remember Krishna. Yam Yam Mapi Swaran Bhavam. Then only we'll get, according to whatever consciousness we have, the material, the sinful consciousness, that only he will get by. So he will lose that Nidehamadyam. This, he will lose that opportunity given by Lord, the boat. So yateta, one must endeavor. One must endeavor, not just because it cannot automatically happen. Whatever we have done sin, one has done a sinful activity or offense, anything, automatically it will not get eradicated or destroyed. So one has to put one's endeavor and then rectify it. So it cannot automatically, by time, it will not get eradicated automatically. So one has to put one's conscious endeavor to eradicate the sins what one has committed. And with the determination he has to do. Otherwise it is not possible. So again is saying Mrityoho, before the death. Death is, because death can come anytime. We don't know. If we delay it, okay, I will do it after, sometime after 10 years, after end of the life and everything is settled. So that is not possible, because we do not know when the death will come. Our birth certificate will not guarantee. The age in our birth certificate will not guarantee. So when we will, how long we will survive, 100 years. But because death certificate can come at any time, any moment. So nowadays it is even more, anytime, anything could happen. So that's why before death one has to, in this life only he has to eradicate without delay. Avipadyeta. Avipadyeta means, vipada means trouble. Avipadyeta. Before it becomes worse, not yet deteriorated, one has to take the atonement process. When this body And when this body, before the body gets deteriorated, so because in the old age, everything, nothing will function properly. All our senses, sensory, we cannot speak properly, we cannot hear, we cannot see, we cannot understand, memory will not be there. It's very difficult to perform that time. So that's the best time is when we are healthy. So that time only we should do. That's avipadyeta, before the body gets deteriorated. That is a healthy time. And atmana means the body, mind one possesses. With the body and mind, he has to purify. And dosasya, so what he has to do, the sins, what one has committed, papa. So we know this sinful cycle, how one gets the sinful desire. So what makes a person do the commit sinful acts? We might have studied in our Nectar of Devotion, the cycle of sin, papa. So what is the root cause of sin? Why does one commit a sin, sinful acts? What is the
Due
root?
to material desire.
Yeah, so even before the material desire comes. So why does the material desire come?
Avidya.
Yes. So because of ignorance, avidya, so we don't know what is. So we don't know about tvat padartha and tvam padartha jnana. We don't know about ourselves. We don't know about the Supreme Lord. So because of that ignorance, one who does not understand who he is, one who thinks only his body, because of that ignorance, so he gets sinful desires. And then because of that sinful desires, then he commits the sinful actions. So then that becomes papa. So sinful desires are called bijam, and sinful activities are called papam. So because when one commits a sinful action, so what happens? Then immediately the results start manifesting. First is unmanifested result, that is aprarabdha. If you have studied that cycle, avidya, because of avidya, one gets the sinful desires, that is bijam. Because of the sinful desires, one commits the sinful actions, and that is papa. So from that, the resultant is, there will be two. What is aprarabdha, unmanifest reactions, still it is not yet manifested. And then prarabdha, which is manifested reaction, that is whatever we have got our body based on our past life actions. So whatever the limitations the body we have, including the color, including the how much beautiful or ugly, and our voice, our power of vision, everything, whatever it is, because of our past sinful activities, we got this product. So that is prarabdha, manifest reactions. That is our body. Means whatever we are currently suffering. So that is. And so what happens is that because of committing these sinful activities, and the desire which is there, it doesn't go. So this again, because of actions, when we does, the one more kutam, the sinful dispositions will not go away. That will be there as a storage. So that again adds to our desire. It multiplies, increases. So that's why this whole cycle, it is very difficult to get out, even if somebody does atonement. So what can atonement do? The prayashchitta, which is mentioned here, which Parikshit Maharaj compares to later as the elephant bathing. So it cannot completely destroy the sinful disposition. The kutam will remain. The temporary, the sinful, the prayashchitta can only remove the suffering little bit which we are doing, which is manifested, or it, like a painkiller, like whatever prarabdha is there, that only it will alleviate little bit, not also completely, some temporary relief. So this with karma kanda process, if you try to do prayashchitta and get atonement, so that will only help little bit in elevating the sufferings which is already manifested, prarabdha. With little bit we can adjust, repair. But the sinful disposition, that is kutam, will not get destroyed. The sinful desires also will not get destroyed. So that is ultimately, even jnana also will not completely destroy it. To some extent it can, but not completely. But bhakti, only by bhakti we can get out of this cycle, because bhakti destroys this ignorance itself, the sinful desires also, everything. It says, Bhakti Rasam says that, Bhakti Rasam Rupa Goswami mentions that even prarabdha karma also can be completely means even we can change the body also. He gives the example of a person born in an untouchable family. So he is not eligible to do the Vedic sacrifices. But as soon as he takes to the process of bhakti, he is eligible to perform all the Vedic sacrifices. So by his birth, by according to his prarabdha, he is not eligible to do the sacrifices. But when he takes bhakti process, then he is allowed to do all the sacrifices. That means even prarabdha can be completely changed by bhakti alone. So then, it says, Drishtva, having examined, understood what kind of sins, how gravity the sin is, or the sin one has committed. So based on that, it says next, Guru Laghavam, whether it is a big or it is small, it's heavy or light. So based on that, depends on the degree of the sinful action one has done, so one has to take appropriate atonement process or rectification process. For heavy, then he has to do heavy atonement. For heavy sins one has committed, it has to, just like in the treatment and the disease, for a disease, if somebody has a cancer, so he cannot cure the cancer by giving a paracetamol tablet. So for small fever, one may take paracetamol and then light medicines, he can get rid of that fever or symptoms. But cancer, it has to be done chemotherapy kind of treatment, heavy treatment, intense treatment, very painful. So because the intensity of the action is very grave. Excuse me. Just as the doctor, Bishak, Yatha Bishak. Bishak means doctor. So doctor, just as a doctor treats the patients, he diagnoses. Recently, I went for some surgery. So doctor examined. Before I was going to Vrindavan, Govardhan Yatra. So I went to doctor and then consulted. He said that now the problem is in the middle stage. It is not the initial stage, or it is not in the advanced stage. So better you do it surgery right now. If you delay it, it can become complicated. So he diagnosed, and then I had to drop to Vrindavan Yatra, and then I underwent surgery and then got treated. So it depends on the severity of the disease. The doctor he diagnoses and prescribes the medicine or treatment. Just like similarly in our spiritual life also. So whatever the mentality or we have, the materialistic mentality or our disease or spiritual diseases, our mentors or our spiritual master, he diagnoses and then gives the proper guidance. So which if we follow, then we'll be rectified from that disease, material disease. And what is that? Chikitsa. So he would treatment. So there are different kinds of treatments. Guru will give. He may say follow some tapasya, chanting extra rounds, or reading some sections in Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. So he will tell some services or sadhana, whatever. It depends on what kind of the disease we have. What is that? Rujam. Rujam is disease. By expert guidance, nidana with the doctor or the spiritual master. So what is the root cause of the disease is for a conditioned soul? What is the root cause of disease? It is, we just read, is avidya, ignorance. That ignorance is comes because one's forgetfulness of Krishna. The ultimate root cause is forgetfulness of Krishna. So all the diseases will be cured when we rectify this one disease, forgetfulness of Krishna. That means we should always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. What is that verse? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Any of you remember?
Manmana bhava madbhakto
No. Yeah, that is there in Bhagavad Gita. There is a verse. Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. It says. Okay, I don't recollect. So that is the root cause is forgetfulness of Krishna. We become Bahirmukha. We turned away. So initially we were, the Krishna is there, we are here. When we are Unmukha facing Krishna, so there is no problem because Krishna is there ultimately. So when we become Bahirmukha, as soon as we turned our face away from Krishna, then comes Maya is here. As soon as we are facing Krishna, Maya is looking, she's not looking our side. But as soon as we turn from Krishna, Maya also turns towards us. So as soon as we forget Krishna, the Maya immediately is there giving attention. So because of that, we get problems. So as soon as we turn away from Krishna, Maya is turning towards us, then all the problems starts coming. So that's the root cause is forgetfulness of Krishna. So we should start turning from Maya's side to Krishna's side. As soon as we do like this, start doing, and Maya also from here, she'll start turning the Bahirmukha from us. So that is what is our Guru Janas give us, how we should get away from this the materialistic life. So in this verse, in the purport Prabhupada is mentioning Dharma Shastra. Dharma Shastra, like Manu Samhita, prescribes man who has committed. So Dharma Shastras are Upavedas. From Vedas, Vedas are, we have Shrutis and Smritis. So it comes in Smriti, Manu Samhita, Manu Smritis. There are many Smritis, Yajnavalkya Smriti and Parashara Smriti. So these are the sages. The Shrutis are directly heard, Apaurusheya. They are directly heard from Lord directly speaks. They are Apaurusheya, not spoken by any ordinary human being to the sages. And because the Shrutis or Upanishads, they don't change. They'll remain same throughout, whatever the ages comes, the Shrutis will remain same. The Smritis will change. The Samhitas also will change according to the time, place, circumstances. They are called Dharma Shastras, which mainly deals with the persons, the living entities who are in this world, how they should conduct their life based on their varna and ashrama and the marriage samskaras and the code of conduct by the government, how they should rule the kingdom, depends on desha kala patra. Because the rules also change according to the place, also according to the culture also. So that's why we see the Manu Samhita, it may not be applicable at present. It says that, in Kali Yuga, because Manu Samhita is applicable in the place where Varnashrama Dharma is fully established. So then only Manu Samhita will be applicable. So where in current Kali Yuga, there is no Varnashram system only. Kalo Shudra Sambhava. So that's why Manu Samhita will not be completely applicable. Maybe some simple things, but these kind of like if somebody cuts, somebody blasphemes, one should cut their tongue or something is there. And all those things will not be applicable in present context. So there's Yajnavalkya Smriti or Parasara Smriti is mentioned for Kali Yuga, because in Manu Samhita is based on the punishment. The rectification or reformation is by severe punishment in the proper Varnashrama society. They will do. But in Yajnavalkya Samhita or Smriti or Parasara Smriti, the more is about the process is given some positive engagement, more of doing some austerity or sadhana by chanting, doing kirtan. So those kind of easy and which is purifying process. So that is given in this. So for us, for devotees, for Gaudiya Vaishnavas or ISKCON devotees, so what should we follow? Well, should we follow Manusmriti or should we follow Parasara Smriti or should follow Yajnavalkya Smriti? So for us, we have already NOD is given, NOI is given by Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami, and also we have Sanatan Goswami is given by Hari Bhakti Vilas. So there also all these rules are mentioned. Even Hari Bhakti Vilas Prabhupada is very difficult. We cannot follow everything. We'll get confused. That's why NOD and NOI, so these two are enough for us to follow the process, or something from Hari Bhakti Vilas also. If we have done anything mistake, so how to rectify. So from Manu Samhita, Prabhupada is saying that capital punishment. So right now also, it is there still in the world, but people are opposing it. When it's the weight of the murder sin is very grave, and therefore, according to Manu Samhita, murderer must be killed. So, in all essence, this purport is emphasizing that the requirement, atonement is required, and atonement must be undergone according to the gravity of the one's sinful acts. So, the process. So, for us, when devotee context, of course, this verse is very the turning point. This particular verse, the turning point in Ajamila's story, where otherwise, if Ajamila would have taken the process of atonement, what is mentioned here by Karma Kanda or anything, you would have not got Bhagavad Prapti, the mercy of the Lord. He did not take even Jnana Path also. So he has taken Bhakti Path by chanting the name of Lord. We will also see how powerful the name is. So now the Bhagavatam turns the crucial question. So if people commit sins, what should they do? If there is a real method of purification, is there a real method of purification? Is this Karma Kanda process or Jnana Kanda process or Bhakti process? What does atonement actually mean? So this is what this sloka is the turning point in Ajamila's story, and then we'll see eventually in the 15th verse also it will come. So the conclusion there in the 15th verse is only bhakti can uproot, or the holy name can uproot the disease from the root. No other process can help one to completely cure from the disease. So for us devotees, so how we can take this atonement in our life? So we also do, or we might have done something, or we may still be doing some unknowingly sins or offenses also in our life. So how should we deal with that? So we should, from this we can understand that we have to rectify that in urgency, because our spiritual life will be in trouble if we don't rectify the mistakes we have done. So we have to tasmat pura eva ashu. Therefore, we should immediately, without delay, we should rectify the mistake. Because the human form of life, it can, if you don't do it, then as we just read, Prabhupada also mentioned that it will increase the intensity of the disease. And just like if you don't treat the disease, it will increase. The Chanakya Pandita says the three things: the disease, the fire, and the debt. If it is not put initially, only if you don't nib it or if you don't give attention, it will become so big that we cannot handle it. So that's why, as a devotees, if we are done, otherwise this kind of what do you call this? Elephant bathing. Sometimes we may do some mistake or we offend some devotees and we say, keep saying sorry many times. But we don't give up the attitude or that tendency to criticize or to whatever we may be doing. The offensive mentality, we don't rectify it or we don't cure it. We keep saying sorry or forgive me just verbally. So it is just like this karma kanda process. It only just little bit it will cure, but the tendency will not get be completely eradicated. If you keep saying it's like elephant bathing, and we are doing some mistake or offending some devotees or somebody criticizing management or finding fault with the devotees, so then we may just say sorry, and again we do to some devotees same mistake. It is like we are saying sorry and going, it's like going and taking bath. The elephant is going taking bath, again coming and rolling in the purposes, rolling in the mud, dirt. It's like dirt of the material, what do you call the critical mentality. So that won't help us. So we have to, from the root, we have to we have to go and take help from our mentors or the spiritual master to cure that disease of critical mentality, whatever we have. Otherwise, it will not get eradicated, it will remain with us. Because atonement or the elephant bathing only removes the external covering. It's like a painkiller, but the disease will not be cured. Just like Prabhupada is saying in this purport also. In Christianity also there's a process of atonement, confessions. They go and confess Saturday or Sunday. Again, they'll start doing the same thing again on Monday. So that won't work. But because that kuta or the sinful disposition will not get eradicated, so it will remain there. So we'll keep committing again and again like elephant. So we will also be doing same just like elephant. So we have to completely cure that disease of critical mentality or whatever we have. So we all have to diagnose ourselves or go to our spiritual master or our mentors to find what kind, how degree, how much grave the disease we have, at what level. So because so we'll see now the defects of the atonement, prayaschitta, because this does not eradicate the root cause of material suffering. This the atonements, whatever karma process or jnana process, also will not completely eradicate. Because it cannot remove the material attachments which we have, like we have turned towards Maya. So that will not help us to turn back to Krishna, this atonement. Only bhakti, excuse me. Only bhakti can help us to turn towards Krishna. Otherwise, it is not possible. And it will not liberate us. This, the atonements, karmakana process of atonement will not give us liberation. The jnana may give liberation, but it will not give us bhakti. So that's why, as a devotee, so we should, from this verse, we can understand that. So we have to take seriously the process of bhakti, which is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Sparanam, Archanam, Mandanam, Shravanam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, Navida Bhakti, especially in that Shravanam and Kirtanam. So if we take because most of the time, even we'll be, our japa also will be not very qualitative japa. So it said that if somebody chants, japa, Ramanujacharya says the mantras have such a power, it can even change the anything, the material also in this phenomenal world, if chanted properly. So if similarly, if we chant our Hare Krishna Mahamantra with attentively, favorably, Anukulyena Krishna Anusilanam, in that way which is pleasing to Krishna, it can eradicate the tendencies from the root. It will remove from our heart. So that is proper rectification, especially our Shravanam and Kirtanam. So that is what is the real cure. That is Harinam. That is in I think the next few chapters, second chapter or somewhere in this verse, in this canto, will bring about the power of holy name. How it says that even if somebody chants Nama Basa Japa also will help one to destroy the sins. Just like Ajamila, he chanted once Narayana when the Yamadutas came when he was about to die. He called his son. So that one holy name has eradicated all the sinful activities which he has done in this life, in the past life, everything at once, in one holy name. So one may ask, so how is that then? It is not that only once he called his son Narayana, only when Yamadutas came. He has been calling that name when the boy, I think it is mentioned, the boy was only 4 year or 5 year old. But before that also, last 5 years also, he might have been calling the name Narayana. So was that name did not help him? So it is mentioned that, and we are also chanting, Hare Krishna Mahamantra from so many years, and we don't know how much we are being liberated. We have been chanting, so nothing is happening to us. But for Ajamila, Vishnu Dutas came, and we have been chanting Hare Krishna after initiation. So many things we are doing, but we don't see any Dutas coming. So why it is? So it is mentioned I will come in the upcoming chapters that Ajamila, the difference is that Ajamila did not commit any offense to holy name or to the Vaishnavas. So that was offenseless chanting, though he chanted. And it is not that this once when the Yamadutas came, that time he got relieved from all the sins of his present and past life. It is at the time when the Namakarana Samskar happened to this child. So that time when he chanted, even that time only, that mantra only, he was eradicated from all the sins because he did not commit offenses. So that first Narayana, when he did the Namakarana Samskara for this child, so that time only he was eradicated everything. Later on, whatever, every time he was calling, it was only adding that Bhakti Sukriti in his account. So that is that is what's mentioned in the Bhagavatam. You'll see that. You may be reading it later. So what is the power of holy name? And in our case, it is not happening because we are chanting Aparada Yukta Nam. So we are committing offenses. We are reading every day the 10 offenses to be avoided. But how much we are avoiding, so we have to ask, we have to introspect in ourselves how much we are careful. Because that's why if we are chanting for many years and if you don't see, now I'm saying, including myself, if we don't see any tangible transformation in our heart, still we have keeping the tendencies. That is because of only reason is offenses. Our acharyas also say that Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they all say the same thing, that Prayashchitta, this atonement process will not remove the Papa Vasana, the seed of desire, sinful desires. So only Bhakti can remove that Kuta and Bija. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says, Jiva Goswami says in the Bhakti Sandarbha, this Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions in this, for this verse, in his commentary. So this, it will be, the material remedies will be inadequate to eradicate the disease completely. Then why Bhagavatam is prescribing the atonement process? If bhakti is the ultimate thing, so then why Bhagavatam is prescribing atonement? Why it is mentioned in the Vedas also, the atonement process. Lot of karma kanda process are there to rectify this disease. This, if somebody has done some this sin or this whatever activities one has done to rectify, there are so many things mentioned. So why it is mentioned in the Vedas then? Because everybody cannot take to bhakti process. It is in between process, like stepping stone for those people who are not taken to the bhakti path. For them, at least let them come to that stage. Gradually, they may come to take to bhakti, but at least they will be following the scriptures. So, but that is not the ultimate. Otherwise, there is no process. If it's not given, only bhakti is given. Other thing, this process is not given. Those who are not yet come to the bhakti path, so they will be in miserable position because they don't have even that little bit suffering. Also, they cannot alleviate. So that's why it is mentioned. So, so that's why, as in conclusion, as a devotee, so we should, if we do any mistake or any offense or anything, we don't have to hide it. We should not hide it. We should not, or if we done some sinful activities, so we should not hide it, or we should not do the elephant bathing. So we should go to our nidana to the expert physician, chikitseta, take the treatment from our mentors or the spiritual master. So we will diagnose according to our disease, the gravity of disease, they will prescribe. Our problem is that our spiritual masters are giving so many instructions through their lectures every day. But problem is that we don't take the prescription properly. We don't take the medicines properly. So that's why we don't see sometimes change in our consciousness or the disposition which we have developed, which is not favorable, which is we always go to the pratikulyasya, anukulyasya sankalpa. We don't take pratikulyasya varjanam. That only we go. Just like sometimes it may be very severe, our gurus or the mentors will give us some prescription, which is like, because we may have a cancer disease, so they may prescribe a chemotherapy, very severe punishment, not punishment, the rectification process. That may be even doing more sadhana, serving the devotees, menial services, everything. So if we go through that process, then we will be cured of the cancer, of the material disease. Otherwise, the weeds will not be removed. So that's why Ajamila did not take that process. And Parikshit Maharaj is, he is going to reject in the next verse this Prayashchittam Vimarshmanam, he says. And the Jnana Prata also, Jnana Sadhana also, 3 verses he gives Sukadeva Goswami. So Parikshit Maharaj is not impressed by that. And then by understanding that Parikshit Maharaj is not impressed by this karma and jnana rectification, the process of rectification, then he gives the conclusion that is bhakti alone can rectify all the diseases, all from the root. It will destroy. Otherwise, the jnana path also, it is said that the sloka says that like bamboo trees are there, we may burn it, the whole bamboo trees will become ashes, but there'll be traces. When again rain comes, because the roots are not removed completely, again it will shoots up. The new bamboo trees will start coming up. So after it even burnt by jnana path. So that's why even jnana also cannot give complete protection from this disease. Only bhakti, and especially the holy name, which is in Kali Yuga is recommended. Anybody can, anywhere can take this holy name, and then if followed properly as prescribed, then one will get cured of the disease from the root. Of course, there are many verses telling the holy name, the power of holy name, how it can uproot. Maybe we don't have time today to discuss much, but so we all know, we might have heard many times. Of course, devotees won't ask for any atonement. They don't even, atonement means material rectification. They don't take any atonement going to any devatas, any karma kanda process. They take only shelter of Krishna, whatever it happens. Whether they have akama, sarva kama, or moksha kama, even if they have desire anything, they go to Krishna only. They don't go to any approach, any demigod. Because they know Krishna only can give complete protection from, or complete shield from all kinds of diseases. So that's why they don't take any other process. So that is the only Kevala Bhakti. They will take, like in Sikshastakam also we read, even if your Lord tramples us, punishes her, still they will not leave. So that is what is our goal. So we will not take, even if that verse is there in Bhagavatam, even if I think this is Dhritarashtra also says that I don't remember the third or fourth prayer. So he says that, so I don't, I will suffer the karma, whatever actions I had done, I will just suffer for that, but I will not take any other process. I don't remember the verse. Just like devotees say, Tatte nukampa sushamekshamano punja na evatma kritam vipakam kridva vapurbi vidadan namaste jivetayo muktipada savar. So he accepts all the happiness and distresses. It comes on its own accord because of one's bunjeta evatma kritam vipakam. I have done all these things. I am suffering. I am eating the activities, the reactions, what I have done in past. So they will just accept all those things. They will not even ask Lord for, rectify these things. They will not use the Lord for, treating our disease. For them, whatever Lord you do, whether you punish me or you liberate me, you put me in hell or you, give me liberation, I will not leave your shelter. So that is what is this verse is speaking. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I think went over time. So in essence, the purport is saying that we have to rectify the mistake, what our offenses we have committed. We should not delay it, because if we delay it, it will increases. So we have to go to the process is only bhakti, not the prayashchitta will not help us. So that is what this verse is saying. So I think the next verse also will be in the same line. And then after that, Jnana Path, Parikshit Sukadeva Goswami mentions. And then the 14th or 15th verse, he tells about bhakti, that ultimate process is the bhakti only can uproot all the diseases. Hare Krishna. So I would like to pause here. If devotees have any questions or comments, corrections, it will be helpful for me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for very nicely elaborating the process. How fortunate we are to be in this process directly, without going through all the other intermediate steps. Thank you. I request the devotees to share their comments or questions, please.
Correct, brother. Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
This is the first time I am listening from Prabhu's and like this. Ajamila, during his son's Namakarna itself, he got liberated. Is it? It is in this Shastra, Prabhu?
Yeah, it is I think Vishnu Chakravarti's commentary it is there. So we
Oh.
in our Bhakti Vaibhav we heard this. I also first time heard. Then I asked. He said it is. I don't have the reference, but he said from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur.
Hare Hare Prabhu, Hare Hare Prabhu. And as you
So
said,
that means that shows the power of the holy name.
yeah, power of the holy name. That's all. This says the power of the holy name.
Yes.
And not doing the Vaishnava aparat. That
Yeah,
both together, it makes the one to liberate.
Correct, because that is he chanted it without offenses.
Yeah.
For us, we don't see much because we are committing of these 10 offenses, something we are doing it.
Yes.
So that's why Prabhupada emphasized we should chant, recite this so that we remember that we should not do it.
Yeah, correct.
Every day.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Nice nectarian division. Hare Krishna. Bye.
Okay. Okay, so I think
Any questions or comments from the devotees? I think there are questions, Prabhu. I think. Thank you very much, Prabhu, once again.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranam. Thank you very much for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Lot of inputs. I have to hear again, Prabhu, to get more deeper absorption. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Virendra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Kalpataru Vishya Kripa Sindhu Biyocha Pritana
Pavani ki Vaishnav Jyoti Mohan Mantapuri Vaishnav ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, devotees. I will end the Zoom session now. We will meet again tomorrow morning. Hare Krishna.